Welcome to Issues at Hand. My name is Daphne Karange Kangave. Yes, here on Family TV, we have a very interesting discussion. But remember that Issues at Hand is brought to you by Protea Hotel in Entebbe, the best place for you to go for your wedding, for any kind of reservation. You want to have a nice evening with your family. It is the place to go. You want to chill out your head over your home, your house, and you just want a new environment. Go to Protea. You shall get it at very affordable prices. Well, today we have a very pertinent discussion about the girl child. Our topic is a girl as a game maker, change maker, game changer. I am telling you, you have a girl, you are a girl, you know of a girl. You need to be with us throughout this discussion. And today's guest is Miss Julia Kemigisha, Legal Officer, Women Pro Bono Initiative. Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I would want you to say hello to our viewers before we get into all this.
Good morning. My name once again is Julia Kemigisha. I'm glad to be here to discuss this important topic.
Yes.
And I hope we can all pick from the discussion.
Definitely we will. And you being a legal officer of Women Pro Bono Initiative, what is this initiative? What is Pro Bono? I know it, but I believe there are so many people out there asking themselves, what does she do? Who are we watching right now?
Okay.
Yes.
So Women's Pro Bono Initiative is an organization that offers free legal services to women in need. We don't charge the women that we help. We are approached by women who need help, especially in legal services.
Yes.
That's what we focus on. And also we only don't do that, but we do advocacy. We do public interest litigation, like to tackle legal issues that affect women. And basically, it's an organization that is meant to support women in the legal aspect.
Oh, well, you know, if you're out there and you have any issue as a girl like me, as a woman, well, there is a place that can represent you free of charge. That is what pro bono means. They do not charge you. They have your best interest at heart. Now, yesterday was International Day for the Girl Child, and we were celebrating under the theme, our time is now, our rights, our future. Could you tell us more about it?
The International Day of the Girl Child is celebrated every year on 11th October. This is a day where we just want to, it's not that we only celebrate girls on this day, we celebrate them throughout the year, but this is the day where I want to remind them that you have a voice, you deserve to be heard, you're empowered, you can stand. Let's leave all the social or cultural aspects that put women down in the past. Let us rise up and make our voices heard.
Okay. Do even the girls out there know that there is a day? What does it mean to them? Because very many people actually do not know that there is a particular day that is set aside because it hasn't been given a voice that much. So I don't know what the initiative is looking at to see that there is more awareness, that the person knows there is a day just to empower them, to tell them you can and all that. What does it mean to the girl, and how do you think they should know better about it?
Well, of course, not all girls know that this day is there. And of course, that is what we are trying to work against. So, first of all, the sensitization happening through such talks.
Yes.
Yeah, they will be able to spread wide, and girls will be able to know, oh, I have 11th October as my day as a girl.
Yes.
Also, our initiative in reaching out with to different organizations, coalitions, then also the advocacy, where we seek government's help in spreading this whole notion of Girls' Day and girls' rights, girl empowerment. Yes.
Well, when we talk about this day, I understand that actually this is the 10th anniversary, is it? Yes, worldwide. And we ask ourselves, why the 11th of October? Why did the world choose this day, or even Uganda try to jump on and not have a boys' day? Why 11th October? Is there a particular something that happened on this day to a girl that they decided they should make it an international day?
I think it was more of we need to get a day where we can put all our focus on spreading girl empowerment. I don't think it was particular because something exactly happened, but I think it's let us get a special day in a year to celebrate how far we have come. You know, children's rights have evolved with time. Yeah, and also the girl child has been trying to be pulled up for a good time. There's a whole history, there's a progress. So of course, as we continue to progress, it's better to demarcate special days or special activities that can bring attention to that topic.
And keep ringing in our minds as well.
Definitely.
And then I heard that someone that we're going to have this discussion, and they were wondering, why not the boy child? Aren't you segregating? Aren't you discriminating against us as boys?
Yes, I understand. Well, that happens a lot. When you're talking about the girl child, and boys are like, oh, what about me? What not? But we just need to understand why did we have to reach this point where we have to speak for them? Girls, they go through so much. You know, from our history, women were a bit pushed down, not given platforms. It's of late that we actually are given the platform, although it's not well established, but we are trying to pull up a generation agenda that was pushed down for so long. So there is a bit of a gap that needs to be filled.
That is
and it's not that we do not involve the male child. No, we actually want the male child on board to understand that if a girl does this, it's okay. It's not that, hey, why is that girl acting like there's an issue? Why is she? At times they call them too loud, rebellious. For someone who's being assertive. And being assertive is okay because you're standing up for yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, when you talk about the role of the men in this, what exactly are there particular places you see they can come and fit in, how they can help with this initiative?
Okay.
Yes,
they can help so much because first of all, by understanding, they'll be able to relate to the issues that are happening. Let me give an example. We had a public school engagement at a secondary school. We're talking about menstrual health and hygiene.
Yes.
Of course, when they mention that topic, definitely you expect that we would talk to the girls alone. But no, we actually engaged the boys, and we wanted them to be part of this. Why? The whole point of masculinity can be changed into something positive. We can have positive masculinity where boys are involved and they're actually advocating and take women or girls as their equals. And they understand the issues and they can also help because by changing that mentality of these are girls' issues, we shouldn't get involved.
Yes.
It changes the whole perspective of society. If we start to look at women or girls as equals and change the mindset that they are not supposed to, that they have their own issues and supposed to be involved in some things, then I think we shall have a better mindset of society to begin to build the whole empowerment and advocate for their rights even better. I believe we can all participate. We need a collective hand in this.
Even men that can represent women actually in pro bono, which is exactly.
And they're all involved because they all have sisters. They are all produced from a mother.
They have wives.
And they're going to have
they have friends as well.
Exactly, and friends.
Yes. When you were talking about the menstrual health and the talk that you had in secondary schools, I am reminded of girls that are usually made fun of in schools, especially when it comes to that time of the month. And that's how the men usually say, are you in that time of the month? There's a way they turn it as if it's really something that is uncouth and all that. But I'm reminded of how many children or girl children in schools are bullied and laughed at by the male counterparts because maybe they stained their skirt or maybe their moods have changed. So when you were saying that you were involving them in the talk, I could understand their part in this. We need even the emotional support from these men, even as we go through these issues as women. And now moving to the theme. The theme is our time is now, our rights, our future. I want us to break it down. Does this match the cause of the celebration? Why this theme? Our time is now. Our rights, our future. Could we break it down for our viewers?
Okay. Well, the theme, of course, relates to the whole notion of girl empowerment. First of all, our time is now. We don't want to wait to work on these issues or to let them escalate. Yeah, the more we ignore some such things like child marriages,
Yes.
we ignore the teenage pregnant mothers that are failing, that are dropping out of school. You're killing a whole generation that could have been managed, that could have been helped and enabled to become powerful people. The children that are dropping out, the girls that are dropping out because of the teenage pregnancies, they lack facilities, they lack support, they lack understanding. The child marriages, the girls that are being stopped from going to school but are being taken as young wives. You don't know what you're doing to their mental health, or you don't know how you're ruining their future. That could be our next, prime minister, it could be our next speaker that
Yes.
you're making, that you're subjecting to a marriage, and yet she had a whole future ahead of her. So we are telling society our time is now. Let us fight for our rights now. Let us fight for our future from today. Every beginning has a step. So if we take one step at a time, we are eventually going to reach the goal. We shall have a future where girls are, in case a girl gets involved in work, like for example, I saw on television they were training girls to be truck drivers.
That is nice. That is actually
exactly,
cute.
and it had, and the fact that it was made a whole issue that girls are taking the jobs of men. I don't think it should be
No,
like that.
we are just supporting.
Exactly.
We are just supporting.
The same thing a boy can do is the same thing that a girl can do.
Yes.
So if a boy can drive a truck, so can a girl if she wants.
Yes.
Yes, it's about what they want. Support their dreams, support their opinion.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. It's really, really beautiful. And nowadays, I am seeing so many women engineers, and they're doing really, really well. You see them climbing up, even civil engineers, and you're like, oh my God, aren't you gonna fall or something? And then I realized it all takes the person's resilience and what the person really thinks they are from the inside. And I think that's what you're doing, empowering them that this you can do. This is a bit off, but I'm reminded of an interesting story at home. We asked a man to go up the tree to get some avocados, and he said, no, I will fall. And the young girl just went up. So really, it's not about who you are on the outside, but rather how you feel on the inside and what you think you can achieve is what I see in all this. Now, the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development observes that 9 million adolescents make a quarter of the population, with 2/3 of these now infected with HIV/AIDS. Have you made any interventions?
Yes. As an organization, they were working on having a human rights-based approach to HIV-related cases. Of course, dealing in the legal sector, you find that as people who are not infected get involved in have legal cases, so do the people who are infected.
Yes.
But there's a bit of stigma and bias towards their cases. Either they are immediately looked at as guilty because they have the disease, or they are treated in a manner that's not dignifying as a human being because of what their status. So basically, we're advocating for a human rights-based approach when dealing with persons living with HIV, and then also advocating for a change in the health sector so that mothers do not transmit this disease to the child.
Yeah.
Now that of course with the evolvement in medicine, it's now not a problem. Women can give birth to children who are HIV negative,
Yes.
so that you're able to give them a fresh start. So I think from the medical services to also sensitization about having a human rights-based approach to these people, they are also people that deserve to be treated with dignity.
Yes. When you look at the statistics of the adolescents that are being infected, what would you mostly attribute it to? Why are these adolescents finding themselves in such a situation? Is it a home setting? Is it because? Okay, I want to hear from you before I give you what I think.
Okay.
Yes. What do you think attributes to this high infection rate?
Okay, I think the society we live in, especially rural areas, during COVID, we all had different settings.
Yes.
Some were locked at home in a fence, others you're locked at home but you're in a community. And at times your parents, some of those communities are not safe for the children, they're not safe for the girls, and girls are being defiled. Girls are being they're being sexually abused, and this is what leads to the infections.
Yes.
And also the fact that they lack counseling, they lack guidance, and also access to services. Now, like PEP, if you're defiled, they should have an easy access to those to such services, so that they do not acquire the disease. So I think there's so much that needs to be done, from sensitization,
Yes,
from
I
the
see
health
that.
services, and also I think mindset of community, and effort. Where are we putting the effort? If we put the effort at trying to stop defilement cases, children are defiled and the cases are never solved.
Yes,
Or
that is
the
true.
perpetrators run free without being remanded for what they did. So I think we need to put more effort from beneath, from where the problem roots from. And that is issues like the defilement cases. Let them be taken seriously. Let the perpetrators be charged for what they have done. Let the girls receive access to services like PEP
Yes.
to avoid such infections, and let them also get some counseling.
Oh, yes. When you talk about counseling and sensitization, is the initiative directly involved in this, or do you work with like other organizations that carry this out? Recently, we saw the First Lady in the Busoga region when she went to reinstate the Wait, True Love Wait campaign, which is known before marriage, because we have seen so many students now getting involved in relationships. And I am seeing these as some of them, because even the children, most of the children, even boys, are way older than they should be in school. So they come and maybe engage in relationships, and then also furthering the spread of the disease. So I am wondering, does the initiative have a particular plan in sensitization? When you talk about PEP, some don't even know what it is. Even adults have no idea, just a few. I got an incident of where a child was defiled, and the defiler was able to give her Postina to stop pregnancy. But then what about the disease, the infections? So I am seeing a need for the initiative to move into these schools like the First Lady was doing, to really sensitize these people more on this infections and how to avoid them in case they get themselves in issues. Of course, notwithstanding, those may use it for their own. They are not trapped, they go where they want, and then they go for the PEP. Does the initiative have a way they deal with that, or organizations they work hand in hand to do that?
Yes. First of all, yesterday we made a press statement, and it was an initiative to ask government to push further for the ESC, sexual health and reproductive rights. So that bill is basically, we are looking at it as a way of bringing information, sexual and reproductive health information that is age appropriate. Yes, we're not saying let there be information that is going to mislead the children. No, we want them to know. For example, what you said, if a child gets defiled, she knows there is something that I can get to stop me from getting an infection. So age appropriate information can be given to these children, and of course with the guidance from the parents, from their guardians, or from a health official. They will be able to be more aware about the problems that are happening and find solutions. So that bill is basically to improve on the awareness that is going on. Want them to know more about the sexual and reproductive health rights, their access to the services, not only knowing, but access to those actual services.
Yes.
And then also, of course, the organization also works with other organizations. They have a coalition where they want to put resources together, they put ideas together.
Yes.
And some of the activities they hold, they attend conferences, strategize. They also do reach outs to different communities. And also, because social media is trending and it reaches to to areas that may not be able to reach physically. So we believe also in going through social media, going through talk shows, radio shows, you're able to reach a large number of people.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for that response. And then we have 25% of teenagers become pregnant at the age of 19 years. Yet Uganda has been ranked highest in mortality rate, where 18 mothers die during pregnancy daily. Well, my question here is, what has been done about this? When you see so many teenagers, getting pregnant, and yet many die during pregnancy because, of course, there are so many reasons as why pregnant women die, pressure and all the likes. What has been done to curb this?
Of course, teenage pregnancies will be alarming and they may be shunned by society.
Yes.
And the shunning may even reach when they go to get help from medical centers and they are shunned. Yes, so we're just saying if the issue has already come up, like what happened after COVID, the number that had escalated, I think then they should be given access and affordable access to such services. Let teenage mothers not be judged for what has happened to them. Rather we can encourage the rest, to have a better outcome. But for the ones that are already in a situation, it is better if they are given access and affordable access to health services. Let them not be judged or biased because of what has happened to them at a young age.
Yes.
Some things are out of our control, but they should be helped medically at service centers and also of the local communities, of course, because most of these issues come up in the rural areas. So the rural areas, there's a lot to be done with their mindset.
Yes.
To be able to when a situation has happened, you have to handle it as it is.
Yes.
So let them guide these girls. And also, of course, our families and our
That
parents
one.
have a big role to play.
Our
families and parents have a big role to play. Let them guide their children. And this all stems from, again, the information.
Yes.
Now, like that campaign of True Love Waits or when they are encouraging girls to stay in school.
Yes.
You're encouraging them on the right thing. So you need to tell them this is what is there in the world.
Yeah, but this is
try
what
to be careful and try to avoid these. Now, for those that it happened to, as we saw after COVID,
yes,
we need to help them to have access to these services.
Yes.
And also, government needs to do well in the decentralization of medical services in rural areas. And also, they shouldn't just stop at the services, but these girls also need mental help, like access to mental health services, because it disrupts you from the normal course of your life. So you need to be prepared what comes ahead and what how you can move on. Can I go back to school after this? Can I continue to pursue my dreams after what has happened? It's all possible. But it depends on the approach. How are we going to react towards this?
The whole situation. Yes. When you spoke of parental involvement is where I wanted to head, because most of the pregnancies I have witnessed where a child gets pregnant and they're still in their parents' home, usually the mothers tell you, go to your husband, and then they're pushing out this girl probably to a person that she doesn't even know is responsible, or if they know the person, maybe they're not even able to support the pregnancy. How can you deal with that as the initiative? Do you have a program where these parents can be reached as you're helping the girl so they are able to assimilate well with the girl and know how to help us through?
Yes. Here you can involve them in the different talks or outreaches that you do. You can involve them and put them part of the conversation, help them understand where the situation is at, but also help them acknowledge the fact that not all hope is lost.
Yes.
This has happened, but this girl still has a future. She can still go to school and be... We see this a lot. I'm not going to... okay, let me go a bit outside the facts and go to a bit of fiction.
Yes.
You see so many... You see a movie...
Science fiction.
You see a movie where the girl got pregnant.
Yes.
But she was helped by her parents. She was encouraged to continue pursuing what she wanted to pursue.
Yes.
And eventually, she comes up. They come up into responsible women. That's what we're talking about. Our time is now.
Yes.
Let them know that they have a future. Our rights are a future. They have a future. They have a right to access the medical services that are appropriate for them, and they have a right to look forward to a better future. Yes.
Well, I love the fact that before we got into addressing those that are pregnant, you spoke of the role of a parent in how to raise their child, to tell them what is actually happening in the world, but how they should conduct themselves, as the scriptures say, of train up a child in the way they should go, that when they grow up they shall not depart. So you know that when you play your part, at least you shall have been able to deal with it in future. But like she is saying, when that thing comes, or it so happens that your child gets pregnant, it's important to know that all hope is not lost, and do not don't send away your child. No, just speak to your child. All hope is not lost, and look towards the future. Oh, thank you so much. And then when we get into the talk of lockdown, you kept referring to it. A recent lockdown greatly affected the girl child, especially in the villages, in the rural areas. And I asked myself, have you managed to reach out? Many were not able to go back to school. Many totally lost their lives. Like you said, many got involved with men. Some started working, where we see child labor, and it mostly affects the women, the girls. Have you reached out? Have you been able, as an initiative?
Yes, they did reach out. Yeah, the Women's Pro Bono Initiative did reach out. They first of all they tackled the issue of asking government to get involved in the whole teenage pregnant mothers school dropout. Listen, these girls are pregnant, yes, but can they go back to school? Can they get a chance at education? And this was actually worked upon. Of course, it was not a single effort. Again, like I said, we work with different organizations.
Yes.
We work in different ways in order to all have a collective effort. So, of course, they tackled the issue of the teenage dropouts from school. That after these mothers are done giving birth, let them have a conducive environment to welcome them back to school. Then also getting involved in advocacy. Advocacy, fighting for their rights, saying these girls still have a right to education, they have a right to access to health services, and also public interest litigation.
Yes.
Yeah, that is where they probe government to readdress issues that have been happening legally, of course.
Yes.
Yes. So those are the initiatives that they took on to tackle that issue that happened.
Well, that was bringing me to the question of, when you say litigation, I remember that is mainly to do with the legal issues. You know, the girl is faced with many challenges, economic, social, and when you talk about even psychological. So I am glad to know that you are doing a wholesome kind of
Yes.
The initiative is not only to do with the legal side.
Yes.
You represent them, but you also look at the other areas.
Yes.
As in what you usually do when it comes to empowering them economically. Are there like plans that are set forward by the initiative? Like you say, the partners you work with, they look at that side? And then also, do you have like a team of counselors to deal with the psychological bit of it?
Oh, well, financially or economically,
Yes.
I could say the fact that we give free services.
Yes.
All these things that, all the activities that we get engaged in, we are not trying to charge them, or we are not asking them for anything in return. We basically just want to be there for them. That is the whole pro bono part, and also the fact that they go into the litigation, the advocacy, fighting for these rights, organizing talk shows, organizing outreach programs. All that is not asking them for anything in return. It's more of, we are standing for them, we are fighting for them, and we do it without expecting anything in return. Rather positive outcomes for what? Our cause. Yes.
So I was asking if there are other organizations that help you at least to see that they have what to eat, what to put on, especially those that were heavily hit by the COVID.
Yes, there are other organizations. I may not know them exactly by name,
You don't
but
need
I
to
know
mention
that
them.
we work closely with SEHAD. Yes, we work closely with SEHAD. Then also we get in 2021 the organization got involved in the Girls Not Brides Summit. It was also tackling child marriages. That these girls are not brides; they are actually girls that deserve to have their whole future ahead of them.
Yes.
So basically, it is that kind of initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you talk about early marriages or girl marriages, definitely we have seen a lot happening. So many given away because they cannot be educated or because they cannot take care of them when it comes to feeding them and all. Since the initiative took on, have you seen a decline? What is it like? What is the curve? Do we see some change in the early marriages?
Yes, definitely there is a change, although not where we would want it to be, but there is a change because now you find that now the parents are doing it in secret. It's no longer how it used to be, so normal that after my girl is done with senior 4, that's even if they've
already figured
primary
out
7 as girls as early as when they start their menstruation. Now the parents start looking for a way to marry them off, but that was and it's all of the mindset or that whole the whole chauvinism of the girl is meant for marriage and she's not seen as anything more. So that is definitely there is an improvement. Now they do it in secret, and there is a bit of fear in what they are doing because also the law has helped. The law has helped, but of course there's much more to do about it. Yeah, and I think the most effort will be put in the sensitization.
Yes.
The people in rural areas need to be sensitized. They need to be educated that these girls actually have a right to a better future. They have a right to pursue their education. They are not only meant to be in homes to work. Of course, they can do that work. It's normal. It's their chores. They're normal. But we are not saying that's not all they stand for. That's not all they have to offer this world. And you see, you can see that the women that are given the platforms actually rise. They do so well, and I don't know if it poses a threat to society that they want to continue to push them down. But you see, women, when given a platform, they really speak volume.
Yeah, they do shine.
They do so well. You can see in power, I really admired Jennifer Musisi and what she did in Kampala. And you see, they are so strong and they fight for they stand for what they believe in. And if those women can do that because they have that platform, what about the rest who are being denied that platform? I believe there is so much to explore. They have so many talents to be tapped into, and they deserve that platform.
Definitely. Well, briefly, I'm going to ask you if there is anything you do for children in street situation. You know, when recently KCCA told us they're not called street kids, they're called kids in street situation. So you find very many that are pregnant or they have children and they're seated by the roadsides, and most of them are raped. You don't even know, others are defiled. Is there anything you do for those ones as well?
Particularly to deal with them directly, no. We believe that here we have to actually work with government. Yes, because as an initiative, you may not be able to do as much as it may not be able to have a great impact, because if we decide to help the ones here on, let us say, this street,
Yes.
then what about the rest that are on the other side of the country or that are in areas that we cannot reach? What will happen? So if government can maybe improve on the initiative, whether through the laws, whether through enforcement of the laws that they put in place, also ensuring child protective services, where these children can be taken and nurtured and raised.
Yes.
Then because abroad they have a system where the children who are, let us say, maybe orphaned or left astray, they are taken into homes. Yes, and are raised, and at least they give them a bit of a sense of belonging. So
Yes.
We should put more initiative in that aspect of creating a system where these children can be all nurtured, can be kept until
Yes.
maybe they can develop some skills, they can be taught in those places. Yeah, like we see, there are so many orphanages that are doing so much good work.
Yes.
Yeah, they are taking in these children, and you see the children whose lives have gone through such a system.
Yes.
They come out as well.
Oh, yes, they
Yeah,
do.
they come out once they are given that opportunity. So I think that's where the effort can be put.
Well, thank you so much. For you that has just joined us, you're still watching Issues at Hand here on Family TV. And today we are with Ms. Julia Kemigisha, the legal officer, Women Pro Bono Initiative. Your daughter could make change, your wife could make change, and even that friend or sister you look down on. We are here with Ms. Julia Kemigisha telling us a lot about the girl child and what she can do in this world and the region at large. Well, we're getting into violations of a girl child. I want to know, what are the violations against a child? Someone could be doing it and not knowing that it is wrong.
The violations against the girl child
Yes.
are quite many. We have the sexual violations, defilement, molestation. We have the child marriages. We have child abuse. It can be physical, it can be mental.
Yes.
The corporal punishments. We also have, the violations, you can tell from their rights. You get, once their rights are violated, it becomes a violation against
definitely.
the girl. So
Yes.
first of all,
So should we look at the rights then?
yeah, I
Yes.
think we can begin from the rights.
Yes.
So generally, the rights of a child stem from the Convention on the Rights of a Child.
Yes.
That is what brought the conversation of children and not just property of their parents. They are human beings that also have an opinion.
Oh,
So
yes.
it gave a platform for children to have an opinion. And when it was ratified in Uganda in 1990, that is when it paved way for the coming of the Children's Act and eventually the Children's Amendment Act. So the Children's Act spelled out the rights of a child as the basic needs. That is health, education, food. They have a right sense of belonging.
Yes.
And all that. Of course, it was amended to include also identification. They have a right to have a sense of identity.
Yes.
Who am I, and who do I belong to? Where do I belong? They also have a right for their opinions to be heard, and that's what gave the whole notion of the best interest of a child.
Yes.
For example, in these cases of, let us say, adoption cases or guardianship cases, they consider the opinion of the child. What is the best interest of this child?
Yes.
Where best would they fit? What best works for them? Then also, of course, the whole issue of identification, the fact that there's a large percentage of undocumented births. Yes. And so that leaves a whole identity crisis.
Yes.
Child grows up without knowing where they're from or who they belong to, and also it also as if opens an easy way for child trafficking.
Yes, that's
if this
true.
child is not on record, then it's
You will never
less
know.
likely that they will ever know that this child went missing. So
Yes.
of course, also among the violations, we have child trafficking.
Yes.
Children are taken as sexual slaves. They're taken as work slaves. Or there's also child labor.
Yes.
They are overworked at such a young age. No child deserves to do that kind of work in mines, also as house girls
Yes.
or house boys. But since you're talking about the girl child, the sexual slavery.
Yes.
They are trafficked and taken into prostitution. The children are made to do all kind of obscene things, and their innocence is taken away from them at such a young age. So all that is happening. There's so much abuse of their rights, and I think it's because maybe most people don't even know what their rights are.
Yes.
Yes, children also have rights. They also have a right to legal representation.
Yes.
Also in court cases, they can also give their opinion. Of course, there's a parameter in which it is accepted.
Yes.
But still, they have a platform. And if they maybe they knew their rights, then it would be easier for them to be enforced or to be realized and to be worked upon.
That is true.
So the violations stem from the abuse of these rights. Yes.
And when it comes to violation, it brings me to the next question, which is gender-based violence. We have seen it come on the rise, and there is a lot happening. I don't know if there are any plans that the initiative has to curb it, or what they're already doing about it.
Well, they are doing so many things, but let me just talk about a few.
Yes.
For example, in legal cases, there are women that are facing issues of violation. So we represent them. We represent them and take on their case and ensure that it reaches and it yields like what they deserve. They deserve justice, and that is what we intend to give them at the end of the day.
Yes.
Then, of course, also there was after COVID or during that period, we had a hotline, a free line where they would reach out and they were taken to safe houses. Those that were being abused, those that were being maybe beaten,
Yes.
they were taken to places of safety. And also, of course, again, like we have been talking about the whole show, the advocacy,
Yes,
the
yes.
sensitization. Does society know the issue that is happening, and why is it happening? Is it because women are being stepped on, they're not being empowered, or is it the masculinity that needs a change to being positive, to being accommodative of the girl child and women?
Oh, yes. Well, we have questions coming in from our viewers right here. I want to start off with this one. Thank you so much for the show. Actually, Sibyarhanga, why do you always front the girls? Is there any initiative to empower the boy child? Because a boy is not nurtured. I think he was saying if a boy is not nurtured, it will always create insecurity to the girl, a child. When do we celebrate the boys? Like you said when we were starting off,
Yes,
they will always
like I
complain.
said, they'll always say, but again, it's
Yes.
let us. It's like if we are speaking about an issue of yours, and I'm like, oh, what about my issue?
Yes.
So when we are speaking about the girls, it's not to say that the boys do not exist. No, they do. They do exist, and we acknowledge that. But we are trying to say that from where we have come from, there's always been a gap. The boy child will always be given a platform first. Inheritance, the boys aren't supposed to get everything. In jobs, they prefer the males because apparently they have a better work ethic. But
So they think.
that girls are a bit vulnerable or what.
Yes.
But we are not saying the boy child does not deserve a platform. They do deserve a platform, and they have it. But we are saying, what about and the fact that we're talking about the girl child day. Let us focus on the girl child. Let us focus on the gap that has been there for such a long time.
Yes.
It's as just a sharing platform. It's an equal opportunity. Are we on the same table? Let us be fair and let us be truthful to ourselves. Girls are not given the fair platform, the eco platform. There is this whole thing of girls are now in leadership. Look at the prime minister, look at the speaker. But those are just, if we compare all the employment platforms in the country, are we going to say that the women are in the lead?
I don't think
and
so.
if they're in the lead, they actually have the power that is being talked about.
Oh, yes.
Yes, there is that whole thing of let us put them in because women want a platform these
Just
days.
for show.
Just for show, for optics.
Yes.
But are they actually being given that power? Are they actually
exercising it?
Are they exercising their power as the head of that organization? But that's another topic for another day.
Well, for me to answer Ashley's, if we have a girls' day, that means the rest are boys' days, isn't it? Anyways, I have someone here saying, hello, Daphne. Yesterday on Family TV, we watched a news of a chairman who raped a girl in Kisoro. What are you doing in such circumstances? How can that girl be helped? I feel bad when such dubious acts in our country are being done. And this is Jane Kugonza from Entebbe.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a story in the news of a girl who was raped in Kisoro by the chairman. So they were asking, how would you help in such a circumstance? How will this girl be helped?
The girl can report this issue. Of course, there's also so much politics are involved because if at times the leaders, and I'm not pointing to anyone in particular, but at times the leaders of the community are actually the perpetrators. And that is where the issue comes in, and maybe they are scared to push this issue further.
Yes.
But like I said, the cases that we handle of these women that are suffering come from as far as in PG. They come from really far places. But we are able to represent them if we open up a case for her. A case can be opened for her, and we can be able to help her through that to make sure she gets justice for what happened to her. And I don't know how far they have reached to enabling her get access to services, health services for what she went through, because she also needs that kind of help. Yes, to treat her for what maybe went wrong, or and also does she have a family that is willing to work hand in hand with any organization that will reach out in order to ensure that she gets justice at the end of the day.
Well, thank you so much. I think, Jen, you've been answered right there. Thank you so much for watching, even your Achilles. Well, I have another one here saying, thank you so much for the show. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. You have really done a lot to empower girls. Have you really done enough to empower girls when the number of prostitutes are rising every day? Now this is Chiseka Lawrence watching from Tweed Towers. He's saying, have you really empowered girls? Maybe the question should be enough. Because yes, those who are empowered are there. So yes, I think his question should be enough because the number of prostitutes is rising every day, so he says.
First of all, one man cannot change the world alone. Like I said, collective effort.
Yes.
If I'm talking about the girl child, but someone else is thinking, what about the boy child?
Yes.
So we are we are dividing our attention to issues that do not matter, and we are failing to come together to work on one issue that could actually make an impact. And prostitution, what is actually causing prostitution? What is forcing these girls to go down that path? The fact that some of them have maybe given up on life.
Yes.
They do not have, the girls that have dropped out, now they are looking, how am I going to survive?
Yes.
How am I going to fend for myself? Some of them are orphans. So it's not about judging, oh, this girl went into prostitution. What if we solve the underlying issues? Perhaps she dropped out after a pregnancy. She's trying to find a way to support herself and maybe the child. And I'm not justifying the topic at all.
Yes.
I'm not justifying the topic. I'm just saying there's no need for judgment when we can work together collectively and solve the underlying issues that are pushing girls to that extent. And of course, the organization has done and is doing its part.
Yes.
But what is society doing? Is society
Exactly.
listening to us
Yes.
when we go, when we talk about such issues, when we advocate for these issues?
Yes.
And of course, there's so much more to be done, and we are willing to do as much as we can.
Yes.
But collectively, we need to work together,
Yes.
and also we need to work on the underlying issues that are causing such things to happen.
Well, also partly answer him. I remember when you started, when you say that the boys have a part to play in this. When it comes to prostitution, even men have a part to play in this. You know, someone once said that you cannot open shop unless you have someone to buy.
But exactly.
So,
and the people that are buying these
Yes.
women and are men.
yes, that's what I'm saying. They have a part.
Why
to play.
aren't the men saying no? We do not want the girls on the streets. We are
Yes.
not going to give in. We are not going to accept this,
Yes.
and we are not going to accept this to happen. So if they don't have where to go, they will. It won't.
Definitely,
there
they
will
won't
no
be
need.
there. So there is a lot that we could engage
Way.
into,
Yeah.
yes, right now. But I would like to thank you so much. But from our talk, I can see that the initiative has some positive results since it started. And I know you face lots of challenges as well when it comes to doing this, and knowing that you're doing it free of charge. We may not have the time to go into all that, but I would like to say thank you so much, Miss Julia Kemigisha, and thank you so much, our beloved viewers. It was Issues at Hand with me, Daphne Karungi Kangave, brought to you by Protea Hotel and Tebe. Do make time to go visit.